Hello everybody, this is Havoc. Welcome to another Medieval Kingdoms Total War 1212 AD. This is, of course, a total overhaul mod for Total War Attila, currently developed in Total War Attila. So, today we are playing yet another battle. This is a 2v2. We decided to, after we played the City Siege battle, of which I epically failed, all of us being Rambler, Overkill, Indy, Pride, and myself, we decided, hey, we'll go for a land battle. We'll make it even playing field. Large armies, as you can see, we had large armies set on. Anything goes. Yada yada, blah blah blah. So we're like, okay, we'll do that. So I chose to play as the Kingdom of England. My friend and unfortunate teammate, Indy Pride, was playing as, I believe that's the Duchy of Burgundy, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, that's the Duchy of Burgundy, good. Rambler decided to go as the Duchy of Lesser Poland, and Overkill over here as the Empire of Nicaea. So we're going to lay out what the armies looked like, and what they were consisted of, and we will get down right to the battle. I have on my right flank some mounted sergeants. They are some heavy melee cav. I have a few units of regular sergeants. The Earl of Hertford, I just picked one real quick. Wasn't really paying attention to whose sergeants in particular are playing with. I have a few units of heavy billmen, which will come in handy later on. The foot men-at-arms are the real heroes of this battle, just to let you know. And full disclaimer, for those of you who watch my battle and are like, dude, this guy sucks. Yes, I do suck, but I win this battle. So just watch and see. So we have footmen at arms, and then of course you cannot be the Kingdom of England without some retinue longbowmen. And I have my late English king sitting there in the back with his awesome looking cav, looking pretty ballin' in his golden crown. His hat, his helmet is absolutely ridiculously tall. And then on my left flank, I have English nobles, which are some heavy shot cav. We're going to go over to Indy Pride, actually. I'll go over to his, because I really didn't get to watch these two. All I watched was that he destroyed Overkill, and then let me beat Rambler by myself until the very end when it was clear that I was going to win. So he has knightly retinue, the Count of Champagne, whether or not that's what they're called. I'm going to say Champagne. He also has some mounted men-at-arms, as well as some grendarmes. I'm going to call them grendarmes, because I don't know what else to call them. So we have a mix there. On his front line, he's got a few units of Pavis crossbowmen. Pavis crossbowmen. And then he's got Pavisiers. And then his melee consists of foot knightly retinue. I think that's all he fielded in terms... Oh, and sergeants from the looks of it. Okay. And then in the back, he's got some more knightly retinue, some grendarmes, and his Duke of Burgundy. So he's fielding a pretty heavy infantry set. Over here, in Overkill, his opponent, playing as the Empire of Nicaea, he's got Cataphractoi. Is that? I don't know. So he's got a lot of Cataphractoi. Heavy shot cav, and then he's got some Pronioi. I'm butchering it, but essentially some heavy melee over there. Let's see, is this Rambler? He kind of runs into the Empires. So he has some crossbowmen. I'm just going to say this, I can't pronounce all of these funny little Italian names. So he's got some spears, Scatatoi, and then he's got some, all these guys, what is up with the OI at the end? Spathorioi guard. And then some Varangian guard. Some pike. And of course his king, the Emperor's bodyguard. Now what really scared me as soon as Rambler showed up with his troops was how many he had. And of course he was facing me. So what he has, playing as the Duchy of Lesser Poland, he has some mercenary Mazovian cav, which are pretty epic. He has some Polish knights. He has the great banner of Krakow. He has more Polish knights. And behind these guys are a couple of spear sergeants, spear militia, and he's got Pavis spearmen. He's got some more Pavese spearmen. He's got some pike, polearm halberdiers, some more spears. So, I mean, look, he stretches all the way across into Rambler's troops. So he's got a lot. He's got some heavy axemen. He's just got a good solid mix of troops, as well as some archer sergeants, as well as his Polish king. So he stretches a lot further than I do. We started at, look at that, a good 2,100 men less. So let's go ahead and hit play. So obviously with the replay functionality messed up in Attila, what we had to do is we essentially had to stop, or we had to hit start immediately without setting up our troops. So we spent a little while setting up our troops before we finally made our moves. So I think this is actually part of that. So I'm going to super fast forward through this. It'll be a little glitchy, but I thought I was further along than I actually was. So one thing we wanted to do was really make it as level as possible. So we got down off of this hill, because that's where Indy Pride and myself started off at. And then Indy Pride and Overkill, as you can see, they were right on the red line. This is a very small map for having close to 80 units on it. So hopefully that's one thing that we can get figured out. I don't know if you can increase the size with the 1212 AD mod, but it would be pretty nice to have maps that cater to the amount of units you had. Obviously, because it's hard to flank with such limited space. And so I think we are about ready to rumble. I moved back over there because he had too big of a gap. So Indy Pride's going to go ahead and start moving in. Again, I didn't watch much of their battle aside from what I saw to see if I was going to get hit by Overkill. And unfortunately, thanks to Indy Pride's tactics, that didn't happen. So I do want to put another disclaimer. I have not played a whole lot against. I haven't done a whole lot of PvP. Here we go. We're gonna start. I haven't played a lot of PvP, so against people I do suck. Really, against AI I suck sometimes. But that's why I'm playing these guys. I'm playing these guys because I need to get better. So if you guys will stick with me, I promise I will start learning some different tactics, some different ways to really start gaining the advantage in some of these battles rather than just losing battle after battle. So I do appreciate you guys watching and sticking with me. And we'll get right down to it. The ally, our enemy, is attacking our ally. So it looks like Overkill just keeps his troops in a pretty defensive formation. He's got them pretty spread out, which I don't know the advantages. I mean, I'm pretty spread out as well, I guess. But I like to keep my units at least 3 deep. So I don't know, because my thing is cav charges. That's my big deal. Cav charges are hard to fight against, and with units spread out that far, it's hard to really do anything. So I decided to finally move my troops up. I've got my footmen at arms over here covering my left flank, my heavy billmen in the middle, and eventually I do move up my sergeants to cover that right flank. But as you can see, he's just got so many troops. One thing I need to do, and I'm going to critique myself as I watch this video because it was something that came up post-battle for me anyways, I need to learn to mix troops. I don't do well mixing troops, and like for instance my cav, I had my mounted sergeants over here, and it didn't really help me when I could have done a mix of English nobles and mounted sergeants together, and that probably would have helped me a lot more. So while we're getting set up over there and keep an eye out, it looks like Indy Pride came straight in. They did a little cav face-off with a unit of Pavesiers. So you can see his Pavesiers get absolutely destroyed. I mean, you're talking within 10 or 15 seconds that dude is routed. Absolutely crazy. So obviously he's winning decisively. When it comes to cav in this game, they are quite OP. You can be fighting nearly a whole battle and not really lose many horsemen. He fixed that, Warman did, in the last build. So that was a very pleasant to not just have horsemen duke it out the entire battle and still have a lot left. So as you can see, Rambler himself, he comes in with all of his cav on, I guess what would be his right flank, my left, along with quite a few units of his spears. I'm hoping and praying that my footmen at arms, with their heavy melee, they do have spear wall, and I really think that's what saved me, is keeping that spear wall, because you can see we're about to have a charge, I think, and they're going to hold the line spectacularly against them. So I then retreated, I pulled my horsemen back, and these guys are going to hold off these mercenary Mazovian cavalry. Over here, Overkill and Indy Pride are fully engaged. It's kind of still a mix-up. Indy Pride has really pushed that center column. He's kind of, I feel like he's flanking these guys to keep the cav busy, which allows him to pull in and use his guys where they need to be. One thing I do love is the retinue longbowmen is how huge their range is. They have an unreal amount of range. And over here, I wasn't really paying attention. Whether I was looking over at the battle over here, trying to make sure my flank over there was secure. Rambler got his Polish knights and his a couple units of mercenary Mazonian cavalry. Mazonian, did I say that right? Mazovian. And also the great banner of Krakow. And so I brought my mounted sergeants over here. This is just another case, though, of how I should have mixed up my troops. I engaged my English nobles at these mercenary Mazovian cav without even paying attention to the fact that I'm getting outflanked here. So what I try to do is I bring in my billmen, because my flank isn't very secure, but it's secure enough for me right now that I'm more concerned about being overwhelmed. But as you can see here, my footmen at arms, they are holding up spectacularly. I don't know if they're just OP or if you know what was going on there, if some units aren't strong enough in terms of the lesser Polands, but they do absolutely just fantastic. As you can see, they're really holding their own, and I think they all easily get over 100 units, 100 kills per unit. So again, I don't know why I charged my English Knight, to be 100% honest, or my General. I don't really know. I don't know. I wasn't thinking. I think I was caught up in the moment. So, Rambler brings his guys in. My heavy billmen are going up pretty good against their pikemen, or against their spearmen. And I have another heavy billman who is taking down and absolutely destroying his heavy axemen. He's using his archers to try and take down my longbowmen, which doesn't really work for him very well. And I've got my heavy billman trying to hold back this flank. So as you can see, his horsemen start routing. So I bring my king back here, try to charge the spear militia. And as you can see, I'm engaged here as well. Over on the other side, it is a mess. It is an absolute cluster of units. Indy Pride seems to have won the right flank with his units, and Overkill is simply trying to compensate. He's going to try and push into the middle over there, but it seems like Indy Pride, even though he has less units, it does seem like he has the upper hand. Meanwhile, over here, I mistakenly don't pull out my general in time, so I have those spear sergeants really did a number on me, as you can tell. I have only 27 units left in my general, and so I try to get out, but there's really not a whole lot of places for me to go to. And so I try to do a charge into these spearmen, hoping that I could break them. That really does more harm for me than good. But as you can see, I'm still holding, even though these sergeants are getting wrecked by heavy axemen, I'm still holding the line on my right flank. And holding it pretty well. I mean, look, these billmen, even though they're losing, they are holding 3 units back. So I won the cav charges, and my foot men at arms. Let's see if I can I bring him up? 45 kills, 64. Yeah. And so, anyways, my calves start getting wrecked, and then my general dies. He was not moving. I would like put him over here, and he would just like crawl, and so he died. So I'm like, that's it, and that's what everyone else thought too. Rambler's like, haha, I killed your general, And I was like, yeah, I'm screwed. I'm completely screwed. There's no way. Whoa. There's no way that I should win this engagement now. So I pull my longbowman back, and I start hounding on his general. I'm starting to try and snipe him because I know killing his general is going to be the absolute only way to win this battle. Over here on my right flank, Indy Pride has fully started taking over. He still has units of cav, whereas Overkill is working on trying to kill these crossbowmen with his general. And of course his Indy Pride's men-at-arms are going to come over here. And I think he actually loses his general here in the next minute or so. And I am continuing to just try and snipe. Yep, there he goes. Overkill's general dies, which breaks the rest of his army. Indy Pride wins that engagement. And rather than come and help me, he selfishly stays behind and lets me try to work out my own problems. I'm just kidding, dude. I'm really glad I got to play with Indy Pride. He taught me a lot, and hopefully that'll keep to it. So I'm using one of my units to chase down his king. Again, I know if I kill Rambler's king, I will have a decent chance. It's really just a suicide attempt, but it tends to work pretty well in terms of trying to find and win battles and turn them around. As you can see, my entire right flank is dissolving. This guy, or Rambler's archer sergeants, are really doing a number on my longbowmen, but I'm still holding this line over here. I've even actually brought one of my foot men-at-arms around to kind of chase down the general, and that's all I'm doing with these English nobles and with my longbowmen. I don't even care that they're getting attacked right here. I just want to snipe his general. Is it a D-bag move? You bet it's a D-bag move. But you know what? So is killing my general early on in the battle. So I'm going to insist that my English nobles, as you can see, I'm clicking. That's fine. I'm clicking, trying to get my English nobles over here to destroy the Polish king. I'm not losing this battle over here at all. I am holding the line quite spectacularly. Indy Pride's wrapping up Overkill and doing quite a fantastic job at it. And even though we seemed like we were winning this engagement, Indy Pride and Rambler were still like, dude, I've got this. Like, we've got this. Indy Pride's like, dude, I'm going to lose again, really. I'm not uploading this crap. And it's all me, basically. But I'm like, yep, we're screwed. There's no way I'm going to win this. It's just not possible. But I thought, what the heck, I'm still going to go for the general. So Rambler's getting kind of upset that I kept pursuing the Polish king. But I was like, dude, I don't really have anything else to do. So using my English nobles, who are still going after him, and then his my mounted sergeants are about to get hit in the back by these mercenary Mazovian cav, and a funny little thing happens. So they're about to hit me. I'm like, well, I'm going to try, and then they just rout. They decided, nope, not doing it, not worth it, not worth it at all. So I keep pursuing, and believe it or not, I actually do get his general. This guy he kind of gives up, and that's what we were talking about. With my king, it's like, dude, he just kind of gave up at one point. And so I was able to catch up to him with my mounted sergeants, and his general will go down. So, overall, I just want to get a cool little close-up here. That way I can do my thumbnail. As you can see, these heavy billmen really did a good number and really just ended up, I think, breaking these guys. It caused some pretty epic, there was some pretty epic fighting that went down in this battle for sure. And it honestly wasn't until I broke his general, which I think I'm about to kill his general, that his army just absolutely melts. It just completely and totally melts. Yep, there it goes. So as you can see, he's just got some Pavi spearmen, and he also has his halberdiers. And he's thrown his halberdiers in, I think, a little too late in the game. But I mean, he was winning so heavily from the get-go that there really wasn't anything I feel like he could have done differently, and the outcome would have been different. So I routed his spearmen. I'm gonna surround his halberdiers, and eventually these guys will rout. And then Indy Pride's like, oh, okay, well, we've got this. So I'm going to start taking out his archers, like, just to speed up the battle a little bit so I'm not having to do absolutely everything myself. So I engage Rambler's halberdiers with my footmen at arms, and then I just come in from behind with my other footmen at arms. This unit will rout pretty soon. And then these guys are just absolutely exhausted. But I'm going to try and get some nice little screenshots of this last little epic fight. Get these men-at-arms wrecking some halberdiers. There we go. And then both his units rout, I think also because of the cav that came in from behind. And wouldn't you know it, a Pyrrhic victory. Absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. But as you can see, my footmen at arms, they did the absolute brunt. Like, they took the whole brunt of the battle. 350 kills, 250, 396, 167. This unit of Billmen did well as well. And then over here, Rambler, even though he fielded quite a few more units than I did, it was those footmen at arms that really broke his army. And then once his king was dead, it was all over. Over here, Indy Pride, he didn't even lose half of his team, half of his men, if you think about it. And while there were a couple of Pavisiers that didn't really get much, his Pavis crossbowmen and his Grendarms absolutely, and his men-at-arms, his mounted men-at-arms, they absolutely wrecked it. Rambler, he did not do too bad. It was just that he lost his, as you can see, he still has quite a few full units left. Whereas I do not. So he still would have had a lot of people left in the battle. But Overkill, he did get quite wrecked by Indy Pride. Indy Pride is a very, very good player. I'll let you guys know that. Definitely go to his channel and check his stuff out. So that will be the end of this commentary. So I won. Heck yes, I finally won. And I look forward to playing with these guys a lot more. And I really hope that they don't back out and just leave me in the dust, because they kind of suck. That we can use these as teaching moments for myself as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Be on the lookout for more 1212 AD gameplay. Hopefully with a lot more different players. I do have a battle scheduled on the books with one of the devs of the game. So be on the lookout for that. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. This is Havoc, and I am out of here. Peace!